TikTok launches a revamped creator fund called the Creativity Program in Beta.
AI system detects strange signals of unknown origin in radio data.
This AI-powered science field parody that's still running on Twitch.
ChatGPT literally gaslit the journalist several times.
Welcome to our weekly tech review where we explore the latest trends, news and updates from the world of technology. VR, AR, blockchain, space technologies, AI, social media or consumer electronics, we cover it all. Whether you are a seasoned innovation expert or just starting in tech, this podcast is the perfect source for staying up to date with the constantly changing world of technology. On camera 4 today we have Chris. On camera 3, this is Vincent. On camera 2, we have Henrique. And on camera 1, this is me. Hi, I am Tarek. Henrique, I always have to call you Henrique with my very American accent. TechReview is a collaboration of Ideas Engineering, Free Tech Academy and Upday. You can watch all episodes on YouTube or listen to us on all major podcast platforms such as Spotify and Apple Podcast while you work out, drive or maybe even travel through space. You know exactly who I'm talking to. And we are going to start with Vincent. No, up here. Oh, it's me.
Yeah! Oh.
Vincent, do you want to start
again? So,
Vincent, do you want to start?
No, I will bend before my almighty random generator.
I heard voices that
all hail the generator.
I heard voices that said, "Don't follow the random generator anymore." But I can jump in with my first article for today, and it is about social media. I read on TechCrunch that TikTok launches a revamped creator fund called the Creativity Program in Beta. Yeah, and this means that they aim to provide higher revenue and opportunities for creators. The program is currently invite only with eligibility criteria not disclosed, but we already know that creators must be over 18 with an account in good standing to qualify. And TikTok developed a program they developed this program based on feedback on their current earning opportunity, where some people are criticizing very low payouts. We know this as the Creator Fund in the past. And this one launched in 2020 with $1 billion commitment over 3 years, which is going to end now in 2023. And to join this new program, creators must create original videos longer than 1 minute. This is new. The new program includes a dashboard with insights into estimated revenue, video performance metrics and analytics, and video eligibility requirements. And once you are enrolled, creators cannot revert back to the Creator Fund. So it is expected that once you move over to the new one, the old one will die out until at one point of time they are going to shut it down because it will not be funded anymore. And the US launch follows testing in France and Brazil, with the expansion planned soon into the rest of the world. The Creativity Program marks TikTok's expansion of its earning opportunities for creators, and we already know these new plans for monetization from YouTube, who also started sharing their ad revenue with their short creators this month. And TikTok's new program shows that the company is committed to finding new ways to reward its creators, and they keep attacking YouTube with their long format videos. And we already saw that TikTok now opened also their the length of the videos from 3 minutes now to up to 10 minutes. And soon I think people are going to expect TikTok to offer the same usability and the same features as we see on YouTube. And I think they already have more traffic than YouTube on their platform. And so it becomes really, really interesting to see what TikTok is offering in the future in comparison to, I call them their main competitor, YouTube. Yeah. And I, as a TikTok and YouTuber, am very excited about all of these features because more competition on these platforms means more opportunities for the content creators to thrive there. Any thoughts? Vincent?
Sorry, yes, I unmuted myself. I think it's very interesting. I read that TikTok is also using this program to raise the bar, because obviously the Creator Fund was, even though they, I think, changed some of the criteria, is something that was launched when TikTok was still a organically so much growing platform that there were less big creators and everybody had better chances. I mean, we experience it ourselves to grow. Now with actually the organic growth to plateau in the US already in the last quarter on TikTok. TikTok is raising the bar with this, and I'm expecting them to. So I'm really interested in seeing the core values that you need to reach in order to be eligible to that fund. So, for example, I'm right now expecting them to raise the bar up to 100 to 150K of following at least. I think that live will play a big role because they know how that keeps people on the platform. Maybe even likes on lives and maybe even revenue on lives would be an interesting KPI to measure. I think the most interesting part in this is that TikTok has now created it has brought so many different features to the accounts, to the platform, to the whole environment, that there is so much more they could choose from in order to verify someone for that program or not, meaning to motivate people to engage more in lives, for example, even though the account that I, for example, still have from back in the day with I think top time it was 85K in following. I never tried to go live because it was just not something I do due to the content that we were creating. And I think this is TikTok way now to encourage them. I think the downside of this is that I'm expecting it to be way too small again, which I think Meta currently is tackling with their new RevShare program, just as like YouTube will. So I'm really excited to see that, because I think if TikTok fucks up this creativity program, they will see the creators leaving because they're not rewarding them with the put option to link out. They're not rewarding them with the creativity program or the creator fund. So I'm really excited to see what they're measuring. And I'm really excited to see how big this program actually in the end will be, / how they will evaluate who gets what. Because if it's based on the program of the Creator Fund, this will not be enough to keep creators on that platform.
Right, absolutely. And I think it is kind of a dangerous course that they are going into right now, because from feature perspective and monetization perspective, YouTube was always the more attractive platform for creators. The only thing that TikTok had was the users and the great way of swiping to very short form content. And if TikTok is now starting to push long-term videos without offering like the same usability and searchability and these features, it might be very dangerous if they are then losing their users, because maybe they do not like to see 3 or 10 minute long videos, or as you said, if the creators are not happy with these newer options, it might be that they lose the one thing that they had, like the big base of users.
Just because just adding that, just because I think the options are so similar. This is I think something that we don't pay enough attention to. YouTube doesn't have really big options to choose from. If you don't want to go on YouTube, yes, you can go on other platforms, but all of those platforms just do not serve the same amount of users, the same amount or a similar amount, the similar experience when it comes to growth, like YouTube does.
Right.
And for TikTok now, the situation is much more dangerous, because now there is Meta heavily pushing onto Reels, so heavily that it will at a certain point become dangerous for TikTok. And YouTube does exactly the same, offering this extremely attractive monetization options, just as you said. So I think from being the one and only creating or having this amazing new technology of algorithmic and suggestive served content, now being one of several options. And if they don't, and if they're not careful, people will just switch because the competitors are not ones where you have to log onto a new account and start from scratch. Usually, creators on TikTok are creators on YouTube. There are creators on Instagram. So they can switch in a second because they already have access to those platforms and to the audience.
Right.
And now, this.
Let's continue with Chris.
AI, again. But a cool use case, actually. AI system detects strange signals of unknown origin in radio data. So this might be about alien life, but might also not be the situation. So let's look into the article. The article actually is indeed about discovering alien signals with artificial intelligence. And it tells about the research of a team at the University of Toronto. And they applied a newly developed AI technology actually to a data set. And that's the interesting thing, that had been examined already, like some years before, like in 2017, I think. And at that time, they did not find anything interesting in that data set. But now that the AI actually that was specifically trained for looking for signals which might be artificial, right? So signals that cannot be generated by natural astrophysical processes. So now this AI was quite successful in searching 150 terabytes of data and was looking at hundreds of thousands of stars. And what they found actually was that in the old data, there was indeed signals which had not been found beforehand. And that was 8 signals of interest, which are all relatively close to our solar system, or between 30 and 90 light years away. And so this is what the AI found in contrast to the examination in 2017. And the group from University of Toronto actually published that in Nature Astronomy. And by doing so, they showed that the AI system beats the classical algorithm, which they have used like 5 or 6 years ago, massively in signal detection tasks. And that was not that a big surprise, but nonetheless, it was quite impressive. And what we also have to say is before UFO believers come out now, the AI has not detected direct evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence, right? So what they have detected is nonetheless something which is called technosignatures. And that is a form of signal that would, as I've said before, that is generated or cannot be generated in a natural process, natural astrophysical process. And the hypothesis behind that is that these technosignatures are kind of an indicator showing the presence of a technology, and therefore might be also showing or pointing to the existence of some kind of intelligence behind that. So, and that could be alien origin, but that could also be some kind of, radio interference or something from human radio sources.
Oh, okay.
But nonetheless, nonetheless, what was really interesting that they found something where there had not been anything beforehand. And so they looked at these 8 signals, like from all these stars, and unfortunately they did not discover anything yet. They could not redetect any of them. So that was, kind of a downer. But nonetheless, what the results clearly illustrate is that in old data material, where there has not been found anything beforehand, now with AI, things can be found, signals can be found. And that actually is a great indicator, therefore, that the AI methods in the near future and also in the far future apparently will have great importance for radio astronomy, and indeed might also lead to exciting discoveries in the future, right? Maybe also the discovery of an alien space species. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of efficiency, I think this is very, very important that if we have this data and if we have something like alien signals in our data, it's important to not dismiss it because our system is not smart enough to detect it. Yeah, but of course, if it's bringing up more false positives, it might also be a source for a lot of misinformation because we might get like our weekly detection of some alien signals because our algorithm was so smart, and then in reality it's all just human radio interference.
Yeah, this is not quite clear. So I think the point here is time, right? Which makes the difference, because the last data set evaluation had been in 2017. That's like roughly 6 years from now on. Maybe there has been a kind of, well, alien signature of whatever kind. And if you would have detected that at that point in time, like 6 years ago, and then you would have gone there again and again, you might have redetected it again.
Right.
But now, 6 years later, maybe it was just like a spaceship flying by. Of course, now it's elsewhere. So you would not redetect those signals nowadays. So you're a little bit late for that. But again, so like we have that in many other fields also, that AI is just, and we had that also in all our tech reviews again and again. Also in the last tech review, we had that topic. The efficiency is rising by unbelievable amounts. And it's just amazing to see what is possible with the development of AI in the various fields, not only the image recognition or image creation AIs, but also here a totally different use case, the detection of kind of alien signals in the universe. So that is, well, just amazing to have like technologies like these. And yeah, we are another big step heading into the future.
And I always want to have more alien news. Vincent.
This is too beautiful to end this topic than to say something else. Sorry.
More alien news. I like that. If our tech review is valuable for you, please give us feedback with a like or a comment. That would help us tremendously and it wouldn't cost you anything. And if you don't want to miss the next episode, just click on the subscribe button. And now, back to the news.
Okay, but that
And now, this.
So we can do that. So
Sorry,
many articles. I never tried. I never did that because I thought, well, I do not want to be the UFO guy, but
I want to be the UFO guy.
Yeah, it's not like you're the flat Earth guy. If you came now with articles about flat Earth, yes, probably an issue. Aliens, yeah, let's go.
Totally fine.
Okay, so there's no big difference between flat Earth and aliens then. What about aliens from the flat Earth?
Wait,
so that will be my next article. That will be my next
Oh
article.
yes, Fermi paradox rethought through AI.
That escalated quickly.
Yeah, but that now we are actually entering philosophical grounds again. Fermi paradox, like a discussion with an AI. So that might be really interesting. So why did not anybody try that? Maybe somebody did already.
Tarek, I think you have 5 questions free today on Bing. Maybe you ask it.
So, but I actually wanted to jump to Henrike's article, which would be this one.
There we are. Yes. Did any one of you watch Seinfeld?
Yes, I
This
did.
is the most Henrike article I've ever seen.
That's a long time ago. Seinfeld. So
But
wasn't
you've
that in
seen
the,
it. Good.
but that's really old, right? So that was in the 90s or so?
Yeah. No, it started in 89, actually. Just before, like, I think in one of the first episodes, they mentioned the Berlin Wall at one point, and I was like, okay, wow.
Yeah.
Kind
So
of
that was a
old.
good
Yeah.
guess. Yeah, I remember that actually. So I was already like a sensible thinking being at that time.
Oh,
Before you
beautifully
became
said.
human.
So you know, Chris, as much as I know, and maybe the others have heard of it, that Seinfeld is a show about nothing. So I loved the headline of Nothing Forever when it comes to this AI-powered Seinfeld parody that was apparently or is still running on Twitch. I haven't heard about this before. but it now was in the news because the show was actually suspended for about 2 weeks because the main character, the Jerry Seinfeld-like character, made transphobic remarks in the show. And so they now are like working on making sure that this doesn't happen again, but they also already said they cannot guarantee it. How did it all happen? The company, creating the show, Mismatch Media, they changed the AI model that is supporting the stream on Twitch, and they have been using GPT-3 Da Vinci, but that started to malfunction and causing issues. So in order to keep the show running, they switched it to an older model called Curie, which I think is interesting, not changing it to a more recent model, but changing it to an older model.
But Da Vinci is the most recent one.
Is it the newest?
So there's
Okay.
nothing above Da Vinci.
Then that move makes sense. Okay. I take that back. But yeah, this move in the end caused those inappropriate comments because they were generated. So now what they do is they create an AI safety council /team to prevent that to happen again, and also to figure out just mitigation strategies in general. And what they're also working on in parallel is introducing an audience interaction system to allow fans to also interact with the show and potentially message the direction that it's heading to, so that they can early on kind of stop it from getting out of hand. And yeah, so this was kind of the issue. But they what I found interesting as well, because I mean you see the picture there and how it looks like. I mean, I loved Seinfeld, but I not really think that I would be into an AI generated Seinfeld show, really like in the long run, watching it continuously. But I mean, they working on it to run as long as possible and as long as it makes economically sense. Right now, it doesn't make sense economically. It's really expensive, and they working on a business model around it to make it running for forever, for as long as the community wants it to. And I just thought okay, maybe I'm not the target group, I'm not the community, although I love the show about nothing, but having this nothing forever, yeah, that's what I just thought about. I don't know if there's really the audience for that, but apparently right now there is.
When I learned one thing from gaming, and I'm not a big gamer, but I do have I can be very, what is it called, nostalgic with old games. And when I learn something from that world, it is that you might think that you will never attach yourself to something with bad graphics, but I can disprove you by saying I'm pretty sure on my on my Windows, and I'm pretty sure at least on Tarek's, I don't know about Chris, you will find something called DOS machine that will revive your old DOS games, something like Police Quest or King's Quest or Doom or what or not.
Sure.
And the graphics you find there are the worst possible, but you will waste hundreds of hours figuring out why the witch is getting you in King's Quest 2. So that being said, I think as long as you're a Seinfeld fan, I'm pretty sure you will watch a few episodes and you will realize that you don't even see the bad graphics anymore.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious to see, I mean, if you've watched Seinfeld, that one of the funniest parts is that Jerry Seinfeld is such a bad actor and he doesn't care. Like, it's really, he's like breaking character so many times, and which makes it, this whole thing really charming, because you can just see that that's just the charm of it in a way. And I'm actually curious to see how this is mirrored in this AI generated show, if it's trying to be a perfect sitcom kind of thing, or if in one way or another they also made it like that, like imperfect. Yeah.
And what I was wondering when you said they are not sure if they can make it economically attractive, if I remember correctly, for a show like The Simpsons, didn't they pay like millions of dollars for the voice actors alone per episode? And I could imagine that producing a show like that in the studio with real actors is very, very expensive. And so if I take this kind of money that I pay for a real life show with actors or voice actors, it should be possible to generate something like that with less money. I mean, I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what they're working on. They want to make it like a whole tech platform, and they want to build those business models around it. And they also, I forgot that to mention, they on this platform they want to enable creators to also make shows of their own. Actually, already within the next 6 to 12 months. So there are ways of monetize this and not just having it as a very expensive running, project. Yeah.
As a content creator, I am very intrigued. I want to do that. All right.
Just saying it's called DOSBox and not DOS machine.
Yeah, I'm not using DOSBox. I'm using the Amiga emulator. I forgot its name. Yeah.
It's less complicated, I think, right? I mean, DOSBox you can do more with, but it's messing. It's fucking annoying.
Right.
But that's the rocket science already. So I was still working with the Commodore 64, so that was really basic stuff. But the same effect. I've spent half of my youth actually playing all those 8-bit pixel games.
Right, yeah. I learned programming on the Commodore 64.
So, and now you see where it got you.
What did you program?
My first programs were actually games. It was like text-based adventures where you had like Das Schwarze Auge.
Ah,
yeah,
yes.
you had like 4 different options, and then you had to press 1, 2, 3, or 4 to choose what path to go or which item to take. And those are the first application that I wrote in BASIC.
Do you still have the games?
No,
Can we play the games?
No.
No.
I don't.
No floppy drive somewhere you have to install in order
have
to
a
play
floppy
them.
drive, and I also have this like these floppy disks. Wait.
Who's that behind you?
That's Nicolas Cage, of course. Look what I have here.
How much is it?
1.44 megabytes.
Wow.
Of course. Who doesn't have these at home? I'm old. Old enough.
Yeah,
Right.
if you were really
It's a collector's item.
Right.
But if you were really old, you would have like the 3.5-inch floppy disk things.
No, I don't have those anymore, but look what is printed on there.
Bundeseigentum, Tarek.
But
What
don't tell
happened there?
anyone. So
No worries.
what I just
Nobody
wanted to
will
say,
ever know.
right?
Now I
Yeah.
understand how you got the big size working.
What I wanted to say was
And now, this.
smooth transition to Vincent.
Yes, my article is just in addition to what Henrike brought last week, because I thought it was so interesting. Because journalists of the information tried out the Bing integration of ChatGPT or OpenAI, and they experienced exactly what Henrike was talking about, but in a more heavy way. Actually, ChatGPT literally gaslit the journalist several times by saying things after asking repeatedly for things and not being satisfied with it. ChatGPT answered something like, "Maybe you misunderstood me, just as you described Tarek." And I'm working too long today. No, just exactly what you guys described. And I just thought that this take of gaslighting was so interesting, because I thought, this is very human, and also it kind of shows the the being biased of the ChatGPT integration of this, or the OpenAI integration of this, because you could understand it that way, right? I mean, you could say, no, it's a tech program that tells you just in a very different way, hey, I don't understand you, maybe you misunderstood me in the way of saying it. But you could also say Yes, this is a very sassy program that answers to your questions in a very sassy way because you are not satisfied with the way it's answering. Also, using the OpenAI integration of Bing, the journalists tried to write exactly the article that we have in front of us. And they are very interesting. The information out of Bing often was wrong. Just the issues that we experience with ChatGPT all the time. Basic things obviously were very easy to validate and were true, but we saw that also Bing is just not where Google is right now. And obviously that makes sense because Google had 3 decades to optimize their engine to the absolute ideal standard. This is the top of the notch that we know in search engines is Google. So Bing will take time to get there. Only interesting, and then I'm through with it already, is that Bing saw a huge spike in visits, and with this AI getting back better, I'm really interested and really keen on seeing where this is going. I believe in the future of Bing. Honestly, I think that what Microsoft did there is exactly what they needed to unthrone Google, I don't know, from its monopole.
Usurp.
Because usurp. Because I think the time that Google needs to integrate this AI as well as ChatGPT is already integrated, and well, I'm saying quote unquote, is exactly what they needed. I believe in it. We'll see how it happens, but right now the integration is fun. But beyond that, nothing.
That's exactly also my point. It's fun, but as you say, nothing. I'm actually wondering, how does it work anyway? So if you have, if you type in something into Google, you get like hundreds and thousands of results. With ChatGPT, you get like one?
So it's a bit different. Bing very clearly diversified the way of using Bing. So when you go to bing.com, you will find the search engine and you will find the chat engine. The chat engine will answer things like the search engine does. Sometimes it also uses information there, but it is not as well connected to the internet as Google's option, for example, is. And so to the user, it is very clear where you will find search results and where you will find chat results. The interface is just very different. I think it's very hard to compare that.
But I think in the long term, the idea is that if you do not want to browse through the search results by hand, you can simply ask this virtual assistant to find the right answer for you. Expecting
so Microsoft, so Bing has an intro page for everybody who's part of the beta, just like I am and the journalist is, and I think Tarek, you're also part of the beta already. And one of the big examples that in the onboarding, in the tutorial, you want to call it that, from Bing, is that Bing shows you could now ask, I want to prepare a three what is it called?
Courses.
3 courses meal, and 2 of them are vegan. What can I do? And then Bing combines the power of linking out and the chat possibility into one, in the end, itinerary for the evening. And that's kind of interesting. But this is a very easy result. Obviously, most of our requests are tougher. I could have needed that. I mean, think back how well we could have needed it when we were looking for specific for specific device drivers. You know, remember when you had to install a sound card and then you were like, oh no, I need this version, but with the column with this option B and not A, 250B from whatever, and then this would have been very helpful actually.
Right, I need a disk drive matching this disk. Right, yeah. Looking forward to the new Bing. Thanks so much for all of your articles. This is already the end of this episode. Looking forward to see all of you next week when we say welcome to TechReview again. See you then. Bye.
Bye-bye.